there, you're watching Go on Shaw TV, where we're talking about dog walking. Okay, Irene, what is this beautiful dog's name?
Mika.
Mika. Now, Mika is your dog.
She is, but of course I adopted her from the SPCA.
Of course you did.
She came in to us when she was younger, and she had a broken leg, and her owner just couldn't afford the cost of, taking care of it and all the surgery. So she's what's called a failed foster in the industry. I fostered her while she was injured.
And you just kept her.
And that was 9 years ago.
So this is a perfect way to start, Irene, because this is what the SPCA does. You take care of dogs like Mika.
That's right, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, not everybody can take the necessary care. Not everybody has the funds, or circumstances change. People have to move, lose their job. There's all kinds of things that happen to people, and we're there to help, to take care of the animals. That's right.
And we have, of course, our own branch, the SPCA here, of which Irene Towle is a staple.
Mm-hmm.
How much of your funding comes from public support?
Most of it.
Most of it?
Yeah. We do have an animal control contract with the City of Port Alberni, and that gives us 1/3 of our funds, but the other 2/3 we have to fundraise and raise ourselves, and we obviously rely on supporters, people who donate to us and come out to our fundraising events, because without them we wouldn't be able to help animals like Mika.
And it's more than just taking them for walks. You have to feed them, water them, take care of their medical needs.
Right.
And you have a lot of animals go through this shelter every year.
Oh, we're a very busy shelter, and every year between 1,200 and 1,500 animals get direct care at the shelter. They actually come in. Some of them they just need to be rehomed. Some of them need extensive surgeries and rehabilitation, and then we also help in other things too. We have our vaccine clinics, and once a month we have our meals. We distribute animal food to people in the community who are having a hard time and can't afford it. So yeah, we and our spay neuter programs too. So we have assistance for people who can't afford to spay and neuter their animals. It's a big job.
It's a huge job. Mm-hmm. Irene, thank you for telling us about it. The list is almost endless of what the SPCA does and how much they need to do it effectively. We're going to hear in just a few minutes about one of their major fundraisers that is coming up, of course, right here at Kitsux's Dyke. That's why we're out here walking dogs today. But first, are you looking for something to do in your spare time? Maybe you want to volunteer at the SPCA, or maybe you want to volunteer somewhere else. Well, I stopped at a volunteer fair where there were all sorts of options for you. But first, the ice is in, but you don't have to shiver. Jenny Fortin stopped by the Alberni Valley Curling Club to see what's up for this season.
Welcome to the Alberni Curling Club, where these men are carefully performing the three-man waltz.
Well, I mean, it's not so much complicated. It's not rocket science, but there's just a lot of steps that you have to be careful that you do everything properly.
Yeah, it's basically a three-man operation. Two could do it, but it's a lot easier with three. So,
if you had only two guys, you'd end up dragging the hose on the ice and making marks on there. And you can't get them out. So you'd be really in trouble.
You don't want to trip up Gord, right? There'd be paint flying everywhere.
Okay. So these guys aren't really doing the three-man waltz, but what they are doing is a bit of an art form.
It's a weird thing. You can kind of compare it to being a chef, and when you make up a menu and you feed a bunch of people, and they just rave about the food. It's the same thing with ice. If you have a major bonspiel coming up and you do your best to make the best ice you can, and people just love it, well, you're golden.
Now, the thing about making ice in a curling rink is that it really is a long, drawn-out process, and you only have the one chance to get it just right.
It's a very delicate process, and you can't put too much paint on at once. because it's not really drying, it's freezing. So it's different than painting a wall or something. So if you put on too much, it melts into the existing ice, which adds more water, thins out the paint, and dilutes the paint, so it's not a great job.
Step by step, lane by lane. These guys have a one-of-a-kind love for their sport.
I got into curling way back, I think it was 1970. Some friends of mine, they dragged us in here, me and this other fella, and said, oh, you're doing this and you're doing this, and we stayed with it. So yeah, it's 45 years now.
It's like everything else. It's a team sport, and if your team's curling well, you do well. If if one of them falls up, so you've got to make a really fancier shot in order to cover up those mistakes.
I've been doing it since I was 15 years old, and I'm turning 51 this year, so I've been at it a long time. I've done Briars, I've done Olympics, I've done all kinds of ice making all over the country, and it's nice just to settle into a nice job with good people, a lot of fun here at this club.
And now that the three-man waltz is wrapping up, the community is invited to check out the club and try out Gord's new ice. For Go, on Shaw TV, I'm Jenny Fortin.
There was plenty of hoopla, balloons being blown up, smiles in place, and everybody putting their best face forward as they greeted newcomers who stopped by their table. In fact, the 2015 Alberni Valley Volunteer Fair bore more than a passing resemblance to speed dating.
It's just a matchmaking opportunity between agencies and volunteers.
Yep, matchmaking. And Barb herself heads one of those agencies looking for a match. Better at Home, which relies on volunteers to help provide some of the services seniors require to remain independent. And as she sought to expand that volunteer base, she recognized a growing problem in the community.
When we contacted and discussed the issue with other agencies and services in the community, we realized that there's a gap between the people looking for services and the people who need the services.
And the problem wasn't necessarily that there weren't people willing to volunteer, it was that they didn't know what volunteer opportunities were available.
We've got an influx of younger people coming into the valley or coming back to the valley, wondering what is out there.
What is out there is a diverse array of volunteer positions, everything from working in the hospital auxiliary store to relocating landlocked salmon fry. And as current volunteers will tell you, the act of giving is a two-way street that can be as beneficial to the volunteer as it is to the agency they're working with. Just ask Bev Frolic, who divides her time between multiple volunteer positions.
I really enjoy meeting people and getting out into the community. I think it's a benefit to our community. I think it makes our community a wonderful place to live. There's a sort of a human need to feel that it's a giving back.
And the giving back isn't just window dressing. It's what allows these agencies to offer the services that they do.
Volunteers are absolutely critical. Just taking our Chinook net pen for one example, we had probably 50 to 100 people volunteering their time last year to get that project going. It takes a lot of effort from a lot of people.
Dozens of helping hands for just one of the hundreds of projects and agencies in the valley that uses volunteers, making this fair and the matchmaking it proposes extremely valuable, and leaving Barb hoping that a more permanent forum can be established.
We're taking the opportunity to poll people that are involved as to whether or not their agency has problems recruiting, would be interested in centralizing that recruitment and attracting and clearing process and have a physical location and a website. And we're going to see if we can start something and make it happen.
For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Nancy Wilmot. I was so impressed by how many agencies and potential volunteers came out to the volunteer fair, and I can tell you firsthand that we really do need a central agency to kind of get everything sorted out and, as Barb said, matchmake between the two groups. Now, that agency is not in place as of yet, but I do have this list of all of the agencies that were set up at the volunteer fair that were represented there, and I'll have it at Shaw Cable. If you want to stop by the office on 8th Avenue, I'll make sure that the folks at the front desk have it there for you if you'd like a copy of it. Now, in the meantime, we are still out here on this lovely fall day on Kitsuxis Dyke, right here at Blair Park, with Hunter and Jen. Now, Jen tells me she's the main dog lady at the SPCA. That's a great role to have, Jen. And we teased the folks a little earlier. We said there's a big fundraiser coming up. What's coming up?
It's a Pause for a Cause walk. It's here at Blair Park, where we just hang out and walk dogs, and there's a barbecue, I believe, with hamburgers and hot dogs.
And I bet hamburgers and hot dogs for the people.
Yes, for sure. Well, unless the dogs want some.
And are there doggy snacks for the dogs?
I'm sure there will be, yes.
So this is so cool. And I know we've promoted it in years past. Is this bigger than Port Alberni, or is it just happening here?
It's provincial, so I believe there's about 37 other Pause for a Cause walks throughout BC.
That's so exciting, coming out with your dog, a wonderful dog like Hunter. You can bring him out for the day, and fundraisers like this are so important, aren't they?
Yes, they are, for sure.
And I've spoken to Irene about this. This is one of your biggest ones.
It is, yeah, it is.
So we're going to tell you a little bit more in just a minute. The main dog lady, she just wants to get back to walking the dogs, I can tell. But we're going to tell you in just a few minutes how you can register. Bring your own beautiful Pooch out here for a walk in the... I was going to say walk in the rain. I hope it's not raining. A walk on this lovely dike. Enjoy the fall leaves. But before we do that, we are going to stroll down Art Avenue with Melissa Martin.
Hi there, and welcome to another edition of Art Avenue, coming to you from the Roland Art Centre with our current exhibit. It's Through the Lens and Beyond by our very own Alberni Valley Photo Club. And a couple of reminders, we have a new event happening here at the Roland Art Centre and through the Rotary Arts District happening in June of 2016. It's called the Solstice Arts Festival. It's a new festival that we're putting together in combination with a few other organizations here in town. And if you are interested in possibly taking part in this event, contact me here at the Roland Art Centre for more information. And here's what's happening at Shars Landing. A few concerts coming up on Saturday, October 3rd is The Fox with Ryan McMahon. And that's folk, rock, and Americana, and he does a bit of roots. And Sunday, October 4th is Sean Burns, and that's his fall duo fall tour for 2015. And he's rocks, country, rock singer, and songwriter. And there's also a couple of other events happening at Shars Landing, and this is all done by donation. And that's happening Monday, October 5th with lounge music by Port Alberni's own More Masala. And Wednesday, October 7th is Open Musicians Open Mic, and that's with our very own Jeff Hallway. So stop by Shars Landing today and get your tickets in advance. Well, that's it for another edition of Art Avenue, but before I go, a few reminders. October 31st, mark your calendars. It's going to be our second annual pumpkin carving contest taking place here right at the Roland Art Centre. So mark your calendars, you don't want to miss that. Another reminder for McLean Mill Christmas Market. That's happening a 2-weekend event this year, coming up shortly, and we still have tables available to rent if you're interested in displaying. So contact us here at the Roland Art Centre. And another reminder that the Solstice Arts Festival, a new arts festival that we're putting on in the Rotary Arts District, will take place June 2016. So more information on that, again, contact me here. So until next time, I'm Melissa Martin for Art Avenue.
That's right. Every year, Port Alberni welcomes bikers by the hundreds to the valley. And one way or another, they never fail to impress the crowd.
I like the colors of them. It's loud and a lot of people have music, so they look really cool.
After the parade of bikes rumble through our city, the crowd assembles at Glenwood Center where the donations are overwhelming.
We're seeing anything from stuffies to large to big giant monkeys. We're seeing skimboards, skateboards, remote control cars, puzzles, Lego. It's just amazing. A lot of cash donations. It's almost any toy you can think of, Barbies, everything.
Now, we all know that the Port Alberni Toy Run is all about the kids. But what exactly happens to all of these donations?
All the money that we make stays in Port Alberni for our children. It does not go over the hump. It stays right here in Port Alberni. We kind of have a rough idea from the various groups of what their need is, and we try and fill that need.
There are places in the community that benefit directly from donations from the Port Alberni Toy Run. And each year, the mountain of toys is split up into different groups and dispersed to the community by churches, First Nation bands, and emergency services. Tom has seen the results of this firsthand, and it warms his heart to the point where his emotions bubble over.
I don't belong to any other groups except Toy Run, and I put my heart and soul into it, and so do our other members. We give it everything that we can. So it's very inspiring for me that when I can see what we are doing makes a big difference in our community. That is where I come from, and all our members.
They ride for the kids, and it's as simple as that. For Go, on Shaw TV, I'm Jenny Fortin.
Oh, I've got two of them. Look at these. Now, I have to tell you, these dogs are not rescue dogs. The girls all brought their own pooches today for this shoot, so you can't have them. But if you stop by the SPCA, there's lots of other dogs for you to look at, I'm sure. We're going to take a bit of a break while I get to know these two lovely fellas. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. You are still watching Go on Shaw TV right here at Blair Park on Kitsux's Dyke, where we are talking about Paws for a Cause, and I have Kim and Jackson here who are going to tell you how you can register. Kim, how do they go about that?
There's a couple different ways they can go about it. They can go online at bcspca.ca, or they can come to the local shelter and pick up a pledge form, or they can go to the local Scotia Bank and pick up a pledge form.
And of course, people can register just before the walk, but you're hoping they register beforehand and you know, raise some pledges.
We're hoping, yeah. It's a big fundraiser for us, so hopefully people get out there early and start collecting.
And you know, we were talking earlier, all of the dogs that you ladies have brought today are your dogs, but Hunter is a rescue dog.
This is Jackson, yeah. Jackson. He's from the SPCA. I got 11 years ago.
Holy cow, I guess this worked out.
Yeah, it worked out well.
So how long have you been working at the SPCA?
I've been there about 9 years.
Wow, are you committed to it?
Yes, very much so. How
come?
I love the animals. I love the work they do and the like how they're working towards like just better welfare for all animals in BC, wildlife and domestic, and I believe what they're doing.
Well, I can tell you believe what you're doing. I can tell Jackson does too. He's doing great. 3 great reasons to come out, to register early for Paws with a Cause, to come out, help raise some money. And you know, we are going to tell you a special story right now about a special rescue dog from the SPCA, just in case you needed one more reason.
Well, we won't be back until late on Sunday. Oh, darn. It's just going to be tricky getting to drop Maggie off. Are you sure you can't come pick her up?
Sharing custody can be challenging. It's a delicate dance around a prearranged schedule that works best when the object of that dance, in this case Maggie and her happiness, is foremost in everyone's plans.
Maggie!
Yes, Maggie is a dog. an energetic boxer bull mastiff cross that is owned jointly by Sarah Jones and her mom, Kay Baker.
It actually works really well. So when we're away or at work, Maggie is with somebody all the time. And as dogs are pack animals, they really need that contact. They need to have people with them. And so it's a best world for her, really.
It never crossed my mind that it wouldn't work. You have an animal and it gets to go home, just like grandchildren. It gets to leave and you get to relax for a while, and then she comes back again and it's wonderful again.
Now, Kay and Sarah are well matched for this arrangement, but the key to it all is Maggie herself, an SPCA rescue dog whose temperament is perfectly suited to both owners.
We've always had our animals from the SPCA. Those dogs need more love than any other dog at times. And Irene Towell at the SPCA knew what we were looking for and matched us up.
As for Irene Towell, Executive Director of the Port Alberni branch of the SPCA, finding a forever home like this one for one of the hundreds of animals that goes through the shelter every year is particularly satisfying.
You see the animal and it's just completely happy and all its needs are being provided. And it makes the adoption really successful too, because, you know, Sarah and Kay have got the best of both worlds too, right? Whenever either one of them needs a dog sitter, it's built in, it's right there.
Yes, a built-in dog sitter, which brings us back to the shared ownership of this lucky dog, a situation that makes perfect sense to Irene.
Actually, Sarah and Kay are the only people that I personally know that do it, but I think it's such a great idea. It's basically a win-win, you know, because Maggie gets to be with Kay while Sarah's at work, and then when Sarah's got days off, she gets to be with Sarah, and yeah, it's just a perfect life for her, right?
A perfect life and a fairy tale ending for a rescue dog. And for the record, Kay and Sarah don't really disagree about drop-off and pick-up times.
No. No. Yes. No, they don't really. We work around each other pretty well.
And they're definitely working around Maggie. If you'd like to find your own perfectly matched dog, contact your local SPCA. She might just be waiting for you. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Nancy Wilmot.
Hi, my name is Deb Oakes. I'm here to recommend Stephen King on Writing, a memoir of the craft. You think usually Stephen King is known for his horror stories, but he's written over 50 books. He's a national bestseller. This book describes his process of writing, how he became a writer, how he got his first break with, I think it's Carrie. His, always asking the what if question is his big question. So if you're into writing, or even not into writing, but try Stephen King on Writing. It's a fresh new story.
They're in lockdown. Doggy jail. But these two pups staying at Port Alberni's SPCA aren't unloved. Not by a long shot. Not as long as Irene's in charge. Because for this woman, who's been at the BC SPCA for 30 years, rescuing animals is more of a mission than a job.
I think there's a purpose to helping animals in our community, and also helping the guardians of those animals take better care of them too. Yeah, it can be sometimes an emotionally draining job.
The emotional cost is very real for this animal lover, but just as real is the dollar and cents price tag on the services offered by the SPCA.
If everything, as in all aspects of life, comes down to being able to pay for things, and especially in the animal field, those expenses are sometimes very expensive.
Found something else?
I did.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Which is why, believe it or not, Irene is shopping today at the Step Above, a luxury home decor shop above quality foods that has become a huge partner in fundraising.
This particular arrangement with the SPCA started in about 2006 in Parksville. And then it's not long after that, when they saw the success of that, Port Alberni decided that they wanted to get involved as well.
Are they on at 269?
Yep, they sure are. What happens is the customers donate their quality foods points right at the till to the SPCA. And so we save those points all year. And then every April, we convert the points to coupons for this beautiful store. And then we come and we purchase goods that we auction at our silent auctions. These are nice, eh?
Now, at first glance, these donations may seem small, but in fact, Irene estimates that every April she cashes in somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000 worth of donated Q points.
So you're at 807. It is amazing, and I find we have about 800 customers per month that do choose the SPCA, so it's well supported.
And given that 2/3 of the Port Alberni SPCA's annual budget comes from fundraising, it's hard to underestimate the value of this support.
Our silent auction is one of our biggest fundraisers of the year, and so it's very important that we have the goods to auction.
But there is one more component to this partnership. The Port Alberni step above has been converted to a discount store, which means those donated points go even further.
It just works out to their favor tremendously. It's going to allow her to stretch her dollars or Q points even farther. So,
all of which brings us back to those 2 dogs in lockdown at the SPCA and the level of care they've received.
All the money that's raised here in Port Alberni is spent in the community so we have all of our programs, our spay and neuter assistance programs, our vaccine programs, and then every year about approximately 1,500 animals get direct care. They're the ones that actually come through the shelter.
I feel tremendous about the fact that we've made a difference in the communities that we serve.
There are so many customers now that give points to the SPC that most of the tellers actually know our number off by heart.
For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Nancy Wilmot.
Oh, good girl. Hey, you're such a good girl.
Well, I've got to say, Maggie was pretty cute, but these 3 are definitely runners-up. Make sure you take time to come on down to Kitsux's Dyke, Blair Park, take in Pause for a Cause. It really is a great cause. Until we meet again, be good to each other.